Hi everyone, my name is Lauren York and I'll be your instructor this semester for English 101. In this video, I'd really like to take just a few minutes to welcome you to our class and also to discuss what to expect this semester. So as you know, this is Composition 1, and what I like to tell students early on in the semester is that the way we will talk about writing in our class may be a bit different than how you've explored writing in previous composition classes. Specifically, in our composition course, we will talk a lot about the concepts of genre and the rhetorical situation. Now, those may be things you've heard about before, but if not, we will dive into that quite a bit early on in the semester. To give you just some idea of what that means though, genre, when we talk about it in composition studies, it is truly a type or form of writing. So when I say a type of writing, it's a book, a tweet, a Facebook post, a blog, a magazine. All of those are genres. And so we explore that along with the rhetorical situation, which is why the genre is being composed, who it's being composed for. And when we look at those two things together, we explore the type of text and the audience, the purpose for composing it. We're able to better understand expectations before you begin writing. And that's truly one of the reasons I love teaching composition, because I think I have a lot of students who come in early on and say that either they don't enjoy writing because it is so complex and messy, or sometimes it's truly hard to know what are the expectations for writing as they constantly seem to be evolving. So my goal is to help you develop habits and skills this semester to break down those expectations and to know how to write in various genres before you actually start writing, so you know those expectations up front and you can succeed doing that. I also hope that maybe you will gain a new appreciation for writing or just a different way of looking at it, as there are so many genres out there today, and we'll explore quite a few that might push your boundaries of what you thought of as writing before this semester. So with that being said, I like also talking a little bit about my role in the course so you know what to expect from me personally. Like I said, my name's Lauren York, and to tell you a little bit about myself personally, I started at Lincoln Land in 2017, and before coming here as an instructor, I worked at Illinois State University. I also worked at Heartland Community College, and I actually started my teaching career in high school. So I've had quite a diverse range of experiences in education, all the way from high school, community college, higher ed, at a four-year university, but I've even worked in other roles beyond teaching too. I've worked in admissions and advising, and what I like to tell my students is it's just given me a greater appreciation for the experiences you bring into the classroom and looking at that more holistically. I really love working with students. That's why I teach. I love hearing your experiences, seeing your diverse insight, and I'm excited to do that this semester. As I mentioned, I did work at Illinois State for a while, and that's where I started because I do live in Bloomington, Illinois. So typically during a normal semester, not right now, but I am usually driving to campus and commuting every day. Right now, I am still very grateful that I get to work with so many of you online, though, as we go through all of this together this semester. The other thing I'll mention, I do live there with my husband, my two children, and I have a Cocker Spaniel named Megatron, who keep me going every single day right now. With all of that being said, though, to talk more about what to expect from me in our class as an instructor, I'll say that I am someone who truly believes every single one of you has the potential to succeed in this class. I think that no matter what experiences you're bringing in or what views of writing you might have, I believe you have the potential to succeed. But with that being said, I also have very high expectations of you. I want to make sure that you grow as a writer this semester, and I especially want to do that to make sure you are prepared for expectations you will encounter beyond our classroom, whether that's the next class that you go into or that's professional goals that you might have for yourself. I really see so many of the things we do in our class as very valuable to other experiences beyond our classroom walls. And so I want to make sure that you meet those expectations so you can use those skills and habits beyond our class. Now, with that being said, I will be someone that helps you succeed if you reach out for help and you constantly engage and you push yourself to grow as a writer. I am here to help you however I can, but I need to see that engagement, that dedication, and that focus from you this semester. Now, talking about our specific semester as well, something that's very unique about our English 101 course this semester is you are going to have the opportunity to engage in a faculty innovation grant that I applied for with another faculty member at Lincoln Land. And so what does that actually mean for all of us? You may have seen it in the promotional video that was going out for our class during registration, but the short version of all of this is Laura Anderson, who's a professor of art, and myself, we applied for a grant that's allowing us to bridge our two classes together towards really the end of the semester. And by doing that, our goal is to address gaps that we previously noticed in our classes. So for English 101, my students had traditionally composed a PSA, or a public service announcement. And when doing that, it's a very creative genre where there's media or images, visuals. And I noticed that a lot of my students were getting a little too focused on the creative design instead of truly examining the content, the purpose, the audience. While Laura's graphic design students had been looking for opportunities where they could engage with real audiences. So we came up with the idea of how about we have our students partner together, and that's exactly what we'll be doing this semester. Towards the end of the semester, really the last two projects of our course, you will have the opportunity to partner with a student from Art 116, which is the graphic design class, as you collaboratively work together to create a PSA, or a public service announcement. Now, you will utilize your expertise as a writing researcher and the things that we focus on in English 101. You'll be responsible for coming up with the purpose, the audience, the content of the PSA, while your Art 116 partner will actually design it using their creative expertise. We will talk way more about those expectations as we get closer to that point in the semester, but I bring that up now to point out, one, that this truly is a really exciting opportunity, but also to make sure that you're aware that collaboration will be a huge part of this class this semester. You will constantly work with that Art 116 partner to ensure the PSA is successful. That also means, in addition to having good communication, teamwork skills at that point, that we will have tighter deadlines towards the end of the semester. And that's to ensure that you have enough time to do your work while leaving enough time for your Art 116 partner to do theirs as well. So if you have concerns about that, please reach out now so I can help. Otherwise, I just want to end with a few tips that I'd encourage you to consider to ensure you're successful this semester. So for one, I'd encourage you to start now. Get started with her course immediately. You're doing great watching the video. Make sure you also read the welcome announcement, which walks you through some of the next steps for our course. One of the first things we'll do this week is also read the syllabus and look at the course schedule. And those are two essential documents for our class, so read them carefully because they highlight the policies, the expectations I have for you to succeed this semester. And I would print them out, I would highlight them, especially the course schedule, to make sure you're paying attention to those due dates because they do change and they are not always consistently on a Monday or a Wednesday, especially as we get later in the semester. So make sure you are paying attention to all of that. The other thing I'll note is that this, I am fully aware, since it's an online class, it can feel like we're at a distance because of that. I don't get to see you every day in the classroom like a face-to-face class. But with all of that being said, there's some benefits to it. You have a lot more flexibility for when you complete work as long as you're doing it by the deadlines. I do recommend that you pace yourself. You're responsible for doing that, where you make sure that you are engaging with the class every day. You're completing some work to ensure that it's not all piled up right before the due date. I will also say that I am very engaged. I try to actively communicate with my students as much as possible. One of the key things to look for from me to help with that is regular announcements that I'll post in the course. Those are really important to read because I highlight a lot of things that will help you with assignments. I highlight reminders about due dates, and I give you other tips for the work that we're completing at that point. So make sure you're reading the course announcements. And then finally, my biggest advice is when something comes up and you aren't sure about it, or especially with the state of the world right now. If things come up and you need help, please reach out to me. My favorite part of my job is working with my students. I love seeing you grow as writers. I love hearing about your unique experiences. So please reach out if I can help you succeed, because I really am looking forward to this class and getting to know you a little bit better. So with that being said, please jump into the course, make sure you're getting started, and let me know how I can help. Welcome to English 101.